The GW women's basketball team finished up their regular season with a hard-fought victory against the University of Rhode Island, winning 73-56 in a heated match here in Foggy Bottom. But it hasn't been a smooth-riding victory train for the team since the last time we talked. The women have broken out of a consistent pattern of winning a game, then losing a game, then winning another game and losing another game. And if that doesn't make your head spin, imagine how our reporters on the ground feel. But let's break it down. The women went into a 2-game losing streak to both St. Louis and St. Bonaventure. Both games lost within a 5-point margin. Who kept them hanging by a string? Point guard Sydney Zambroda came out as the lead scorer for both the St. Louis and St. Bonaventure games, scoring a cumulative 26 points in both games. After that, the women fought on to defeat VCU by a 1-point 56-55 lead, but turned around and fell to LaSalle 61-54, which is a disappointing loss following a well-fought victory against VCU. The team dominated against our revolutionary rival, George Mason University, winning 62-57. Grad student Alexandra Mon came out as the lead scorer, totaling 16 points, which would spark a trend for the remainder of the season as she continues to sit as the top scorer for the past 3 games in a row. Mon secured her career best, scoring 27 points against Duquesne, which also put her in 3rd place for the A10 leading scorers. That leaves us with their most recent victory against the University of Rhode Island, beating them for a top A10 seed going into the championship play. Here to break it all down for us is our senior women's basketball correspondent, Shayna Stein. Shayna, what can you tell us about the regular season as we head into the A10s?
So far, GW has kind of been in the middle of the pack compared to all the other teams in the A10 conference. And while they do have some standout games, it's very hard for them to keep a consistent winning streak. Like you said earlier, they'll win 1 or 2 games, but then they'll lose the next. So it's just, even though they've had some really great moments, it's hard to see steady improvement with them.
So Shayna, it seems like in the past few games they've played and kind of all season, they go through phases within each game where they're really hot and they're scoring a lot, and then they'll go through phases where nothing is going through the basket. So what is the mentality of that team, and how does Coach Rosati turn that around in those times when they're struggling to score and keep points?
Well, after being at several press conferences with Rosati and some members of the team, it seems that she wants the players to be in a certain headspace so that, if they're coming into halftime not having done so well either offensively or defensively, she just wants them to kind of forget about their mistakes in the past and really go into the second half with a clear head. She just wants them to, work on what they can improve, whether it's moving the ball around or getting to the basket quicker on defense. She just doesn't want them, worrying about what they had done wrong in the first half.
And kind of going along the same vein of Rosati's tactics, you mentioned that she has a different lineup almost every game, and most recently she's been utilizing the same 4 first-year starters. And I had read a statistic that it was since 1990 that a GW women's coach has put in 4 freshman starters for a game. So what is that looking like for this fresh new talent, and what will that look like in the future?
Yeah, well, this team is definitely a very young team. The majority of them are freshmen and sophomores. However, it's the freshmen that have really been pulling the strength of the team. You said how she's starting 4 freshmen. She's starting Faith Blethyn, Essence Brown, Tori Hyduke, and Mayo Ataiwo. And although these players are young, they really, really have standout performances, and that's why. And, she's just has a lot of different starting lineups, which, it may be confusing for the team, but, I guess it's been working for them so far. I guess trying to put different players into the game, having, them all have a lot of playing experience. So although it might be an unusual tactic, it is working for them. And one thing I'd like to say that Tori Hyduke, who's a freshman, she has been performing really, really well. She's usually the lead player of the game. She's averaging 9.2 points per game, and she's also shooting 53% from the floor and 57% from beyond the arc. So, despite being young, she's good, so why not start her?
Shayna, what are you seeing with these past few weeks and the team's development, and how do you think that's going to affect them as they continue on into post-conference and A10 championship play?
What we've seen in the past couple games is maybe a bit of a more poor performance in the first half, where they come into the second half more strong. And I think that is a good quality to have as a team, to be able to realize your mistakes and go into the second half with a more level head. And however, although they have been performing well in the second half in some of these games, they still don't have this consistent winning streak. So it's kind of hard to tell what will happen in the future with them, but hopefully they'll be able to, get their act together and move from the middle of the pack up to the top. We'd like to see them win, but at this point, they have been performing averagely compared to other schools in the A10 conference.
Well, Shayna, it's a pleasure having you out here. We really appreciate all your work, and we hope that the women's team can continue on their streak.
Thank you.
Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GW-TV.
Or check out more packages and exclusive content like our interviews with the cross-country team and the tennis teams over on our Instagram page at GWTV_unstoppable. See you next time!